Okay, hello again. Part 2 on podcast 1. Join again with Jonny. Hello.
Hi.
So, I'll explain what just happened there whilst I was talking about Halo Spark
Team
Assault.
Speak Police.
Basically, the method we use to record, because money's tight right now, is to join empty TeamSpeak servers and record using that. And we happened to bump into the admin of said server midway through a
You weren't pleased.
recording. No. So we have intruded on someone else's server and we're starting again.
Gingers are us.
That is what the server's called. If you want to join it,
Feel free.
Yeah, overload it. I think there's only 20 slots. Verygames-gingers are us. Right? There you go. You're welcome. Okay. So Halo Spartan Assault is the most filler, incessant piece of crap I think I've ever seen. The gameplay is not that bad, but it's such just a cash-in. Like, basically, the only kind of story there is explaining as to why some members of the Covenant are still fighting the humans, and that some of them still believe in the Great Journey and don't agree to the ceasefire. So you're seeing some of those battles, which you think is kind of interesting, but it's really not, right? They're really dull, they're really uninspired, and the first one that's come out, right, it just seems like, honest to God, it's a rip-off of Star Wars, okay? The story is that there's this moon that turns out not to be a moon, but in fact it's a weapon built by the Forerunners to destroy planets, right? And the way it fires is to fire 5 diagonal beams into one center beam that fires straight forward and destroys a planet. Yeah, that's pretty much one for one what the Death Star does. Right? And it's driven a lot of people to be like, to do the whole, that's not a moon, that's a Death Star line. But I just think that's so nice. I mean, come on, 343. The lore of Halo is so amazing, so expansive, and the best you could think of was to rip off the Death Star. I know that it's only a little mobile spin-off game, but come on. I at least want some quality. You know, you gotta pay for it. So I want quality for that. I know that iOS games, well, it's not even iOS, it's Windows 8, but I know games like that aren't exactly quality assured, but when effort's put into them, you can make some really good games. There's a game I got for free on my iPod, called Layton Brothers Mystery Room or something like that, and it's like a kind of sequel spin-off to Professor Layton. It's really good, man, like really good. You play as like the professor's son, and he's like a proper detective and stuff. And he's basically just Sherlock Holmes, like one for one, he's Sherlock Holmes, it's such a rip-off. But the game itself is actually really fun, and that's free. As opposed to, what is it, like 8-9 quid you gotta pay for Halo Spartan Assault, and it's just Star Wars.
Star Wars. Oh well.
Speaking of Star Wars, was anything about Episode 7 mentioned at Comic-Con?
No.
That
none of that for a
surprises
fact.
me. That surprises me. Isn't it supposed to be coming out like next year?
But did they say 2015?
It could be 2015.
I swear when they announced it, yeah.
Is it just me, or does 2015 is like a year and a half away? But does it not seem like that date should be really like far in the future?
We'll come to it quick, don't you, worry.
I don't know why, but whenever I hear the word 2015 or 2016, I'm always like, that's years off. And it's
Yeah, I
really
know.
not. Come on, man, 2015, that's when they've got like hoverboards and stuff and Back to the Future. Scientists, get on that.
Get your asses working.
Yeah. That's what I want. I want a hoverboard. I mean, it seems ridiculous to say it's feasible, but it kind of is. There's scientists that have said that it's possible to have Star Trek style warp travel in our lifetime.
Go and chuck on Tita. He knows about the future.
John Tita, indeed.
What an absolute
Think about John Tita, right? Think about John Tita. I'll just explain for anyone who doesn't know. John Tita was someone that showed up in the forums in 2000 and 2001 claiming to be from the year 2036. Now, if you've heard that for the first time, you've probably done what everyone did and gone, sure, whatever. Right? But he's explained a lot of stuff that seems kind of feasible, given a really interesting concept of time travel about world lines and stuff. And at the end of the day, he's posted pictures and stuff of what he claims to be his time machine, it could all just be one big hoax. And given the fact that he's not appeared at all past 2001 makes it kind of, viable that it is a hoax. But
well, he did say the United States goes into like a civil war again.
Yeah, in like
so my theory,
erupted in 2008.
Finished by 2015, he said.
It's possible that, you just say that it's not a hoax, which I think is interesting to say. It is possible that the American government did take a serious look at what he said that the causes were and tried to avoid it.
He was probably a major player in the government, John T. He disguised himself, made Barack Obama president, so like the black race was treated equally, and bang, you got no civil war. He probably succeeded.
Maybe. Yeah, I quite like the idea that John Titor is a time traveler, purely because of the way he talks about time travel. I think it's the best ever, even if it's just fictional, I think it's the best ever form of time travel, and that is because everyone, obviously people who are trying to catch him out were talking about, okay, what about paradoxes and stuff? And he just said paradoxes don't exist, you got to get rid of that idea. It is possible to meet your past self, it'll just change the world. So basically, instead of thinking of time as one line that you can travel through, he said that we're on like a certain world line, and if someone was to jump back, it would change what world line it's on, so that person did exist in whatever time he jumped back to. A great example he gave, I think once, was there's a person called A, and he's going to go back in time and kill A. If he went back in time and killed A, that would start an entirely new world line where A was now dead. So I think that's a really interesting way of talking about time travel. Definitely, especially
you've done that.
Someone, because I write some stuff that maybe you might see in the future on the channel, maybe. And I, from a writer's point of view, I really like that idea. I'd quite like to use it for something.
Yeah, a couple of books there about the series of world lines. Like one book called Time Riders, where this guy from like 66, I think, goes back in time, tells Hitler not to invade Russia, so his efforts are focused on like Europe and Britain, and he wins the war with all this futuristic crap, and it's created a world line where Nazi Germany is like the best. So yeah, it has been explored before, but it's a good concept.
Definitely. I was introduced to it by a really cool show called Steins Gate that I recommend anyone check out. I actually just got the DVD of that, and it's a really interesting form of time travel in Steins Gate. Instead of sending people back in time, it uses the world line idea, but instead of sending people back in time, you send their memories back. So you'd send your new memories to a previous version of yourself, and that version would then try and avoid those memories from actually, happening.
That's quite cool, actually.
It's really clever. I definitely recommend Steins Gate to pretty much everyone. Fantastic.
Right.
Well, are we pretty much dry on topics then?
Yeah, for today. We'll come back with more, but today we're pretty dry. The liquor has run out.
That's all. My cat is...
Yeah, that's another member of the League of Nerdy Gentlemen, his cat.
all the banging and purring you just heard on the mic, that was my cat. He's sat on my knee, intruding on the podcast. Okay, I think that's a brilliant time to end. So, without any further ado, thank you for listening.
Auf Wiedersehen.
And goodbye.